week's weekend win call. We are so excited that you're here. I hope that you're excited. You guys, we have literally listed out the most common topics that come up amongst the people that we're helping amongst ourselves. You guys remember that your coach used to be a client and still is a client, right? So these are things that we hear and things that we have dealt with personally. So let me just go back really quick for those of you that don't know me. Hello, my name is Miss Monica. I've been a part of this community going on 7 years. I've actually lost 167 pounds on this program. So I literally lost an adult male, okay, and kept that off, which I got to tell you, for the longest time, that was impossible for me. And so when I got here, you guys, if you told me to bark at the moon and howl like a dog in order to get healthy, I would have been all about it. Okay. But luckily I didn't need to do that in this environment. You know, our plans are super effective and they work. But you guys, along the way of losing 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and I know you can relate, what I found and what we find, and tell me if I'm wrong, what we really needed was a mental gym more than anything else. Like, I needed to ninja slay things that came my way. Like if I was walking through a jungle, and the things I was ninja slaying were cupcakes, pan dulce, tortilla chips, and guacamole. Like that was my animal. So I just share that with you because this community call is of no judgment. This is just to help. We literally have been here ciphering this out and using our program to our benefit. And so we just wanted to share like most common things that come up. And one of them is emotional eating. So firstly, if we could start by putting in the chat where you are in this. Do you consider yourself an emotional eater? Put a 1. And if you're not an emotional eater, you got this down pat. Just go ahead and put a 2 in there. Let's take a inventory of who is in the room. Oh, I see some 1s there. Really? Really, you guys are emotional eaters? All right. Yay, we're in good company, so we all get it. Here we go. Let's go.
And then close that door securely when you.
Right. So what I first wanted to do was share testimony with you. Any of you ever feel like this? This is how I feel after being gluttonous and eating more brownies than I should have, maybe more waffles and whiskey than I should have. I feel like this. So I don't know if you can relate. Now keep in mind, guys, our program focuses on 6 things. There is, and this slide came out really janky, so just bear with me. We're focusing on our weight, focusing on our movement, we're focusing on our sleep, our water, our surroundings, and our stress. Stress is synonymous with emotions. So I love this woman. She is near and dear to my heart. I want to introduce you guys to Ruth. And the reason being is she came to me trying to achieve a goal, and she did. So first of all, let's congratulate her for achieving her goal. But secondly, I just wanted you to hear in her words for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, kind of how she accomplished this, what got her started, and go from there. Ruth, are you with us? Did she not come off Zoom? Or I'm sorry, mute.
Can you hear me?
Yay, there you are.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Monica. I'm so thrilled to begin the transition phase of my living with my best life. I am definitely a stress eater. I eat when I'm happy. I eat when I'm sad. And I've never attained any of my weight goals before until this very week. And I'm just so excited. And I have to thank you, Monica, from the bottom of my heart. I recently drove to New Jersey from Ohio, from New Jersey to Delaware, Delaware to New Haven, and I was frightened. I didn't know how I was going to stay on track, or I figured I'd gain 20 pounds instead of losing anything. Monica, you kept me on target. You gave me so many wonderful suggestions. And not only did I stay on plan, but I also lost weight. And like I said, last week I attained my goal for the first time in my life. If I've been on one plan, I've been on 1,000 plans and have never reached my goal weight. So again, you listened to all my concerns and you've put me on the path to a lifelong plan of healthy eating and success. I feel so much better now with my 20 pounds off, and I do have a lot more energy. And the plan that you have put me on, because you know I love fruit, is the 4-2-1. So I am just in seventh heaven with 4 fuelings, two lean and green meals, and my fruit. And like I said, when I got to New Jersey, I have to tell you, my niece saw me bringing in all my food from Optavia, and she said, "Oh no, not again. Here we go. You've been on this since you were a kid." I said, "But this time it's going to work because I have the best coach in the whole world."
Oh,
So again, well, thank you. And really, like I said, I'm emotional. So when I get upset, I eat. But you've been able to keep me calm. And you've given me all these many different tips and many different things to think about instead of eating, which I am very grateful for.
well, we love you so much, you guys. 20 pounds. Can you please give her flowers for that? That's amazing. I got to tell you, Ruth has more energy than me on most days. So we got to give her credit. And also, Ruth, let's keep in mind that it was your discipline and focus that kept this going. So I love you so much. Congratulations. I think that is motivating for anyone to know 20 pounds is possible, even if you've tried everything under the sun, like me, like you. It happens here.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Okay, so now nothing is running.
Okay, so let's see. Do you guys see this slide here now that says, what are emotions? Okay, so we're talking about emotional eating, and what we wanted to start with, you guys, is really identify what emotions are. And I'll be very honest with you. The reason why I thought that this was important is because as I'm having conversations with people and I'm asking them if they are emotional eaters, a lot of times people will say no. And they will say, I'm not an emotional eater, I'm a stress eater. I'm not an emotional eater, I'm a boredom eater. I'm not an emotional eater, but when I get angry, that's when I eat. So I thought it was very important to clarify that boredom, being tired, angry, these are emotions of a psychological state comprised of thoughts, feelings, physiological changes. When I get mad, my body gets hot. Okay, when I'm getting angry, I can feel the energy start to stir. So psychological changes happen. You might sweat. You might feel your heart palpate. Expressive behaviors. I know a lot of times when I'm trying to get my point across, I'm talking with my hands kind of thing. And inclinations to act. Okay, old me, you guys, very immature me would be like, I'm gonna blank, 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 right? Like you're thinking, so you get all into this emotional spin, and that is synonymous with laziness, anger, boredom, stress. Okay, these are emotions. So let me take your emotions a little bit further. And I want to share with you this chart. Now you can see on the left-hand side, we have the intensity of emotions. And please take a screenshot of this because I believe this is going to save your life. On the left, you have the intensity. On the right, you have the most common buckets that emotions fall into. When I first looked at this chart, you guys, what I noticed right away is happy is only one category. All the way to the left is happy. The rest of them go on the negative side. So you've got feelings of sadness, feelings of anger, feelings of afraid, and feelings of shame. And then they vary based on, are they low, medium, or high? So when you say that you're angry, I believe it's really good to stop and identify like where you're at on the anger chart. Just so you know, are you feeling like seething anger? Like the volcano just erupted? Are you feeling frustrated anger? I'm just frustrated. Or are you just touchy? It's important to know that. And this chart will really, really help you. And here's how you're going to know. Here's how you're going to know what emotion you are. And I think this is super important. Your heart will tell you. So like Joan, when you're feeling something and you go through this list and you're like touchy, irritated, resistant, uptight, annoyed, perturbed. Ooh, uptight though. That one stuck out. So that's what Joan is feeling. Okay. And so I would ask you to go through these and like, where are you? And take that time, because you know what that's going to do? Positively distract you into figuring out what is going on with you. And I'm going to share with you why that's helpful later. Okay. But this chart is super helpful, you guys. You got to do your best when you get into an emotion that does not serve you to move yourself all the way to the left. So you got to somehow, Joan, go from uptight to at least mellow. Like, girl, how can I be a little? Yeah, Mike's like, yes, please. How can I go from uptight to just a little bit more contented? Do you see? So like you can identify where you're at and move. And you guys, you must, because otherwise, you know what you're going to do? You're going to run to alcohol. You could run to gambling. You could run to an unhealthy person. You obviously could run to food. You could run to all of the things that don't serve you if you just are not managing your emotions. So next, we would love for you to hear from our next amazing speaker, somebody who's been on plan for quite some time, managing her emotions and dealing with her life and maintaining her weight and whatnot. I'll let her share that with you. And then we're going to go on, you guys, to some really practical strategies that Dawn is going to talk us through. So stay tuned, and I promise we'll have you out of here at 5:30.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. Hi, my name is Jessica, and Melanie's my coach. And I just want to thank you for having me on. And she wanted me to talk a little bit about emotional eating. And probably I have the worst time at work because my office is filled with cookies and candies and chips and everything you can think of. And of course, that's the place where you're going to have stress. So if I'm not being careful, I'm going to run in the kitchen and grab a handful of chocolates and bring it back to my desk. But some of the things I do to avoid that is I make sure I get enough sleep, because you definitely stress eat when you're tired. I meal prep. So I leave every day with a lunchbox full of my food for the day. That way I don't go into a hunger binge. And if I'm feeling stressed, one of the things I might do is take off and leave the office and go for a walk. Just get out of there. But I think the most important thing I do is I go to the Monday meetings. And that's where I learn new tools to implement and use in my everyday life so that I don't stress eat and that I keep on plan. And you just get the best suggestions on the Monday night calls. So that's probably the most important. That's what works best for me. And I tried for a long time to lose my weight that I gained in menopause. And the only way I was able to do it was with Optavia after years of trying and binge eating and yo-yoing. So I highly recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it.
Wow, that was so helpful, you guys. Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
losing the 20 pounds. And what I love about what you said, Jessica, is that you actually seek out information to help you. Like you're a
Mhm.
learner, you try and like research and figure it out with knowledge.
Yes, that's how I like to do things.
Oh my gosh, so good. So, so important. Because a lot of times I think we ruminate in the anger and the frustration. And I'll be honest with you, you guys, I didn't know that there was any other way. Like, I just used to think that I was angry and I was going to stay that way. So, let's see. Dawn, darling, are you here? Can you talk to us about our batteries, dear?
Yes. Okay. So, hi everyone. Super excited to be here as always. You know, Monica and I talk about some of the topics a lot, and I'm a huge Pinterest person. I don't know who else is, but there is so much information on Pinterest. And so I think Monica has two pieces that I found that I thought would relate to this. And I was actually going to post one of them. But the first is what you just saw, which was about checking your battery. Very similar to what Monica shared about your feelings and sort of determining where you are. But this I thought was a really nice visual about where you could possibly be in terms of your battery, like what you're feeling, and beginning to think and sort of be introspective about what that might mean and what may be the cause, because we know, as we've heard from our speakers today, that those emotions go right hand in hand with you know, how we deal with them, which for most of us is food. So if we go to the next chart, this one was sort of the primarily what I wanted to talk about was coming up with your own crisis plan or your own plan of action, right? So bottom line, this was a template that I saw on Pinterest. I think if anybody uses it, the creator, you know, wants to get some sort of reciprocity or funding from it. So I'm not suggesting that you particularly use this template, but I think the bottom line for all of us is coming up with a plan. If we fail to plan, we plan to fail, right? So if we know that we have these responses to emotional triggers, we need to come up with some ideas or a plan of action to get us out of that crisis, right? Just like you would have an earthquake plan, a fire plan, all kinds of other plans, we need a plan. So these are some key things that you can think about when you're putting together your plan. How to know when you're triggered. There's all kinds of triggers: anxiety triggers, anger triggers, stress triggers. A lot of the emotions that you saw on the chart that Monica identified are things that let you know that you are being triggered, in addition to physical symptoms like a racing heart, sweating, palpitations, which Monica mentioned beforehand. But what are you noticing when you are triggered, right? Then who are some individuals that you can reach out to? So we heard, you know, that for some people that your coach is a great person to talk to. You may have a friend, you may have a spiritual mentor or a therapist that you can talk to. Who are the folks that are going to really help talk you off of the ledge? Identifying those people. Finding some good ways to distract yourself, right? What are some things that you can do? Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's listening to some music or having some aromatherapy, some smells or something like that that can help you kind of release some of that stress and some of the anxiety. Maybe there are some, what do they call those? Manifestation sayings or things that you can say to kind of talk yourself down and calm yourself. Coping skills. literally just heard from Jessica about some ways that she copes and things that she does. There are maybe some other things that you have found that work for you. And then lastly, ways to keep yourself and your space safe. So this is more so of preventative measures, right? Here we're all about not just intervention, but also prevention. Are there things that you can do to keep yourself safe? For some of us, it's as simple as not buying the things that we know if we're triggered, we will go crazy on. For me, it's tortilla chips. I cannot have them in my house. I don't know how to help myself when I have them around. And so if I'm frustrated, I'm likely to go after those chips. So there are tons and tons and tons of things that we can do to help ourselves through this process. I think the bottom line from this form that you guys are seeing is about planning and thinking things out before it happens. So that's what I got, Monica. I'll turn it back over to you.
Oh my gosh, so good. I love the way Dawn explains things. Talk about having a friend that you can reach out to. She is so concise with her speaking. An amazing friend and coach. Thank you so much, Dawn. You guys, is this chart helpful? Is it seeing this laid out? Does that help you? Because, you know, Brianne, I want to tell you, like when I first got started, girl, like I for real had to decipher how to not eat bread. And I got to tell you, like now I'm at the point when I go to a restaurant, asking them to not bring the bread to the table is easy. But the first time I did it, number one, I felt super weird. The second time I actually felt deprived, like, but wait, I want the hot bread. You know, third, and I just had funerals with it, you know what I mean? And it got easier and easier. Now the bread is not an issue. But I do know that vacations are still a trigger for me. I know bakeries are still a trigger for me. And this is 7 years later. So I share this with you guys to say that you're going to sift through all of this stuff. It takes time. So please give yourself some grace. Now, I want to share this simple, fun fact with you, and you guys are going to be blown away. Limor, you know, when we get upset, girl, like when we get like a little antsy, I don't know if you knew this. That emotion will pass in 90 seconds if you let it. I don't know about you, but when I get angry, 90 seconds, like that's like, what? Like, no, you old me. Okay, so look what this says. We make the emotions last longer. So old me, if you made me upset, I could get into a 6-year cycle toiling about somebody stealing my pancake. Like, that's just how crazy I could get, right? Forever. Then I got better. I wasn't so mad after 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 hours, 6 minutes. I share this with you to say, don't think that your emotions are going to stop. You're going to be triggered, but how you toil through them will not be the same. There are still some things that trigger me for longer than 6 hours. It happened to me the other day. But then I started to ask myself, why are you still looking at this? Because I know emotions only last 90 seconds. And when I was able to pull myself back and take a look, it's because it was a trigger from my daughter. And my daughter is a really big activator for me. So that particular trigger is different than, say, a vacation. So it was harder to get over. But I recognized it and I didn't eat through it. That's important. So I first want you to identify the emotion and understand it only is going to last 90 seconds. Now let's just say, have you guys read element number 4 and found out about your Labrador brain? What happens when a Labrador sees a ball? Doesn't matter what is in its way, right? It's going to go get it. So let's just say somebody put a beautiful tray of baklava in front of you. And if you're like me, that's like heaven in a container, right? So you're just going to grab it, not even thinking about it. Ah, what do you do? So let's just say you're in the middle of your emotional eating spell. Again, you might not catch it right away. What if you do catch it though? Do your best to stick to 4 bites. I know some of you have like 3 bites in, 4 bites in. Here's an emotion I want you to get rid of, please. Let's just say you ordered the cake. Let's just say you had 4 bites. Do not say to yourself, I've got to finish it because I don't want to waste it. I spent money on it. These are things I used to say that are just crazy to me now because I didn't want to waste the cake, but then I would waste my body. Think about that. Stick to the 4-bite rule. Afterward, don't beat yourself up, you guys. It happened. It was an experience. It was an opportunity to learn. You need to move on. Do me a favor. Here's another thing I want you to eliminate. Today is, what's today? Thursday? If you had a bad day today, please don't tell me you're going to get started on July 1st again. Please don't tell me today's Thursday, I'm going to start again on Monday. Do yourself a favor. Get started immediately. And get rid of your all or nothing mentality. So like I have some people that say, oh, I don't want to do your plan because I can't focus on it and do it like it's supposed to. Our plan is not just the eating, and the plan is not perfection. The plan is adopting a new structure. So those mindsets don't serve you. And lastly, this is a practice. I promise you it gets easier over time, but you got to focus on the stop, challenge, and choose. So Peggy, when you get upset, girl, stop, challenge. Do I really want to hit Scott? Do I got to go eat the tortilla chips? You know, stop, challenge, and then choose. Maybe you're just going to go for a walk and let the 90 seconds of emotion subside. You know, maybe you're going to call me. You know what I mean? Adopt, you know, calling the friend tactic, whatever it is. But stick to your goals and keep your mind right. Remember your mental gym and slay, ninja slay this weekend. Like a black belt in a jungle to all of those distractions. I didn't give you much time, but do you have any questions or anything you want to add to this? Madden family, how did we do? Let me see your hand.
You did fabulous as usual. But I just wanted to add something that might hopefully maybe help somebody. Growing up Italian, I can tell you that everything was always about the food. And that's where I got a lot of my bad emotional everything. I ate for everything. And the one thing that I loved when I heard fueling was that just like you fuel your car, you're fueling your body. So that was a really good mind shift for me, because now I thought of when I put something in my mouth, it's to make my body function properly, not for all my emotions. So if that helps anybody, think of fueling, fuel your body. Is a cupcake going to fuel you? No, that's like putting Coke in your car. It's going to make it putter.
Absolutely so true. And I love that because I believe that language is super important. That's why from the very beginning of this call, when somebody says, I'm not an emotional eater, I just stress eat. Like, okay, call it what you want. That's an emotion. You know what I mean? And you know, fueling, it just gives a different light to it. You know what I mean? I really believe that language is super important. Thank you for that. Any last little tips, tricks, suggestions? I want to thank our amazing speakers today, Ruth and Jessica. You girls crushed it. Thank you for your inspiration. We love you so much. Thank you for being here. I want you to know that this video does go out on YouTube, so you are famous officially now. So, you know, people start recognizing you in the street. That's what happens. So there you go. Dawn, thank you so much for your clarity, being concise, for all of your ideas. We love you. For you guys, thank you so much for being here. Please share this video when it's available. Invite your friends to come back here next week. I hope you have that emotional chart. Figure out what you are this week and work towards your goals. Okay, you got this. Crush the weekend. Have a happy Father's Day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming on.